instead of the 3 bomb sites.
And arguably, that makes a lot of sense. But we are going to be getting into the match here. Ladies and gentlemen, on border, CTM starting on defense, OMEN starting on attack. The Armory defense, again, is going to be our first bomb site, and this is the most typically first defended bomb site coming out from any team, regardless of what region they play from. We actually did, I think, see a couple Brazilian teams try to bring ventilation first, and that actually worked out well. But I think that was almost entirely to make up the operator selection. Now,
I think a little bit of that, and also it arguably doesn't necessarily matter where you start, because if you're picking your secondary bomb site, if you're going to be a team that wins, you're going to play both of your bomb sites.
Right, you're going to go to both of them eventually, so what does it matter? Our Jarvis is going to be playing that Mira, and the Mira has been used to great effect on this particular floor. I mean, arguably, Mira has been used to great effect on every single floor, on almost every single bomb site. She's one of those operators that really did influence the meta. And you know what's funny? The great thing about Mira is that she influenced the meta in such a great and amazing way, but at the same time, not overpowered in the slightest. I haven't heard a single professional player come up and say, "Nope, Mira is ridiculous. You know, she needs a nerf somehow," because she adds a mechanic to the defensive team that is perfectly balanced somehow, and it was really cool to see that operator come out from the last DLC.
Now, unfortunately, Jay is not going to be getting the stationary Valkyrie cam.
Oh,
no.
no.
A good blow. C4 toss going up here. He's going to tag one. Can he tag the other? Going to get a double kill from Continuum. Canadian just dropping 2 kills there on a Cookie and Nahan.
That is reminiscent of Black Dragons, I believe it was, versus CTM at the Invitational. Was on border. Black Dragons was doing a lot of variation in their strategy on this particular map, and it was really cool to see. There was a great match overall. I believe Continuum did lose those on border, but there was some great runouts, as you saw. There's Canadian again with those runouts, with that aggression on this map that really made Black Dragons struggle for it.
I feel like you might have taken a couple plays from Nesk's playbook there. Going Valkyrie, using the cameras, using the C4, hopping on out. This is exactly this is the North American Nesk we're seeing right now.
Yeah, there it is. Now, the OMEN squad down to a Habana and an Ashe. Don't really have a lot of choices here. They've established control over CCTV, but they're going to get picked off by the East Stairs. The trade's going to come back here now in a 1 versus 4. Yellow picking off Necrox as well. Now a 1 versus 3. 1 minute 20 left to go. And this attacker, while he is in a 1 versus 3 situation, he has 2 stun grenades, he has 2 breaching rounds, and probably a drone or 2, as well as the diffuser, so he's not going to have to retrieve that. He has everything he needs to make this clutch happen.
And there are still 3 defenders. You're going to have a 1, 2, and 3 armor up, still ready to go. Jarvis, BC, and Canadian. Now, Canadian's already picked up 3 kills this round. BC and Jarvis yet to tag anyone of their own. However, it looks like up the west stairwell is going to be where Yellow decides to make his push. Walls, for the most part, are going to be reinforced, so he's going to have to go forward. Canadian hears the gunshots, goes for the bullets, and that is going to be a 4K from Canadian to show that, hey, Continuum still is in the running here.
Right, and a nice attempt there from Yellow to bring it back. Unfortunately, not quite enough, as, yeah, Canadian was just destroying the rest of Yellow's team earlier in the round, and I mean, you need at least a couple more players to get those refrags before you can, you know, kind of lock out those rounds on attack. Now, it is going to be OMEN going on to defense for the first time. They will be defending Armory Lockers as predictable. Continuum, meanwhile, going on to attack here. Likely not going to see those runouts coming out from OMEN, which means we might see an actual round commence here. I mean, arguably that last round really just came down to Canadians' fantastic runouts coming out from Customs, which, by the way, to be completely honest, the fact that that runout was not being watched is a little bit of an oversight coming out from OMEN. That's a very common C4 runout that we saw Canadian utilize, and it's the sort of thing that you need to be watching.
I think there were a couple pieces of oversight, such as
right.
the Thatcher not getting the stationary cam before he places the Claymore down.
Yeah.
You had the run out. So you had the C4 run out by Canadian. You then had another run out from Canadian, where if you know he's there to run out once, you need to be looking.
Yeah, paying attention to that. It's unfortunate to see, but at the same time, OMEN still have a good chance to bring things back here. Oh, a little bit of a misplay there by Cookies. don't think that's going to hit your target either, buddy. I'm pretty sure that's going to go to the far right of the tower. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Continuum, meanwhile, they're going to be settling themselves up to, looks like, take control of CCTV, which is a less common strategy now moving into our current meta, as CCTV has evolved to be very easy for the defenders to hold. VK is going to drone out that roamer downstairs and be conscious of the fact that he is present in customs. However, he's not looking like he's wanting to pressure it too hard, retrieving his drone and just rotating on over to his teammates.
He doesn't need to pressure that too much. He's already droned out.
Right,
Like you said,
right.
he's droned out teamworks, forced him on out of sight, at least out of the location he was in. So now it's either, do we go in and push him, or do we force him and just move him away so we can get better ground and then eventually go after him? Because arguably there was no sense in pushing any further because there was no one directly on top of that drone to take advantage and capitalize on that information.
Right. All there really is just making sure he doesn't C4 from underneath, and because he's been pushed back, he's too scared of these drones. We are not going to see the C4 coming out from underneath CCTV specifically. MVK, meanwhile, is trying to challenge directly onto T-Mercs and will win that fight. That aggression coming out is going to merit some results. However, this nade will not, as Mental is standing on top of the reinforced drop down. The mirror window will be opened, however, and that's going to allow Continuum a lot of freedom as they push their way in through CCTV, and then next the A wall. That A wall is only difficult to challenge due to that mirror window, and now that it's not there anymore, it's not going to be much of a challenge at all for Continuum.
Now, you could arguably say for the Hibana, use two Hibana pellets to open up the west wall, use the third one to get the drop patch which they are keeping safe inside of that middle office. But it looks as though the third one will be on that west wall, opening up enough for a rotation around. Yellow will pick off the kill there on a Canadian. That's finishing off the Buck playing vertically.
Good start there from Yellow. Now it's no longer slanted in CTM's favor. 42 seconds left to go, and there are still at least 2 gas canisters on Mental. But
NVK looks on up through the holes previously made, and Yellow will be finished off there by NVK. Now Necrosh trying to come around from the CCTV room as we have Cookies outside on that west balcony. Sorry, now that was actually Blackbeard, that's BC. Cookies is going to be inside of the lockers, waiting for some more information. That's from Mental as he's up on side of the desk. He's looking for the rotation around. Necrosh gets tagged and finished off as Jarvis pushes in there, finishing off Mental in return. The C4 coming out to down off and just finish Jarvis. Now a 2-on-2 here with BC getting down but not out for the count there by Non. Last man alive will be NVK with 0 seconds left to go. The defenders are going to win. And unfortunately, CTM, what was about to be a successful attack round, will no longer go into their hands.
so CTM wasting just a little bit too much time. I believe it was mostly just in the early game. They kind of stalled out on that platform outside of the, I believe it was the east balcony. And because they didn't get aggressive enough in that early round, they really didn't have enough time going into the later round there. I mean, you could have seen MVK win that 1v1, but with, well, 0 seconds on the clock, obviously not. However, strategically speaking, their attack was pretty solid. They cleared out the roamers underneath customs before moving into CCTV, which meant they didn't need to worry about that C4 coming out from underneath. They even ended up killing that roamer, which means in general, no C4 from underneath. However, when it came to the push into the site itself, while there were concentrate refrags coming out from both of the teams, there just was not enough time. Now Continuum, having successfully defended Armory, they are going to be going down into the ventilation server room, and this is going to be the first time we will see this site played on this map. Round number 3. Continuum has opened up the bathroom there. Now, some teams close off the bathroom, some teams open it up to try and utilize it as extra ground to maneuver as a defending team. And I think that it really plays to Continuum's strengths to have that opportunity, or that option, to rotate available to them.
And I mean, typically speaking, that bathroom is basically a vault. Not many people play vertically in it. You can if you get into the offices above. But for the most part, people leave it be. And that allows a nice kind of pocket to keep yourself in for a
safe
defender.
Space.
Yes.
Right you are, I completely agree.
Ooh, NVK getting a couple shots tagged onto him from outside on that south ventilation unit. So Canadian got detected outside as he rotated out on the west balcony.
This is a very aggressive play coming out from Continuum. I mean, yes, hold from above is very common, but this in general, I mean, peeking onto east stairs from hallway, that's very dangerous. It's playing with fire. Canadian is unfortunately going to drop. That's going to put us now in a 5 versus 4. And there is still plenty of time for Omen to start to make this round happen. 2 minutes left to go.
And here we have it. Mental still working his way on the east stairs. He has the freedom to open up the 3 wall inside of office, but he doesn't want to do that just yet. He's got to get some more information before he progresses forward. He doesn't want to do it blindly. Teamwork, however, will fall by Jarvis, and the SMG-11 comes out with a headshot from Necrox to take out Yellow. Now a double down will happen here between NVK and Cookies. Mental being the last man alive inside of Tellers, he's going to hop on over, tries to pick up his teammate, but it looks like a rush in from Bathroom is going to finish him off here from Necrox. No, he doesn't get the kill though. Cookies will finish off NVK in a 3-on-2. Cookies now looking on through, and Necrox will be injured. This actually could be a flaw, we'll say here, from CTM. Now it is a 2-on-2 still, 60 seconds left to go. Cookies and Mental, last 2 alive on the attackers. BC and Jarvis gonna try to hold down the fort here inside of the sites. Mental throwing in 1 nade to make sure Bathroom's all clear as he's gonna try to push in through the wall. Now what I might want to see happen here is actually have this wall open up more by Mental. It is soft all the way. We see it open it up now. This is going to allow Glass to push in, but he doesn't see right behind the stair, right behind the desk. It's going to be the shots going on down. Looks like BC will tag him up from behind. Mental will grab the shots onto Jarvis. Now the revolvers come out in the hand of BC. He grabs the revolver kill and finishes off Mental to get the 4v5 win in the hands of Continuum, and that is going to be 2-1 going to Continuum.
So yeah, 2-1 in the favor of Continuum. Looks like we might see a rehost in just a moment here, but we'll find out in due time. Yep, it's going to be a rehost. The score will stand, however, 2-1, as we said earlier. Now that almost went in the favor of Omen. It was almost brought back there in the latter couple seconds of that round, and you could very easily attribute that to, I'm not sure what happened there with Necrox. He kind of just whiffed a little bit there on the SMG-11 spray, and unfortunately was unable to secure those last 2 kills.
Well, he actually brought the shotgun to that fight in Tellers. He tried to bring a shotgun fight to the Glaz and the Buck. And I think he might have just been too far away or didn't know which one to go for. But
whatever the case,
he didn't get the kill.
Yeah, a little bit of a whiff. And unfortunately, but luckily for CTM, they managed to lock that out with the revolver. It came down to a revolver at the end instead of just.
It didn't need to be that close.
Yeah, right.
But thinking about the 3 rounds that we just saw, we had 2 top 4 holds that were successful. We had a bottom 4 hold that was successful. Seems like we could be seeing this go into defense.
Arguably so. I'd like to see how Continuum conducts themselves going into this next attack onto ventilation. I'd like to see their interpretation. What we were seeing from Omen, which was a Tellers / well, actually just straight as Teller's take. Now, more often than not, on a Teller take, you see the attacking squad also try to take control of above and offices and archives, and then establish a little bit of a wall upstairs, open up the floor into, well, what would be the ceiling underneath, and then also the drop down in archives itself, and that lends a lot of control. We saw, I believe it was VG do that in their when they were playing Border previously. And it was very successful. Good attack strategy. Now, when you're simply taking in from the Tellers into the bathroom, into the B bomb site, or actually it might be the A bomb site, whatever the case be, when you're taking into the server bomb site, it really doesn't lend you a lot of control. It's more like, let's fight the defenders head on with no clear advantage. Now, clearly they were using the Glaz to try and lend them that, advantage, but at the same time, it's really not enough to slant it in your favor, especially when you're going up against a team like Continuum, who is, right now, Continuum, let's be honest, are winning the majority of these gunfights.
Yeah, and the Glaz plays, this is the first time I've seen Glaz this evening between all 4 teams. Like you said, he's gotten his nerf. He still seems to be making an appearance here on Border. I don't necessarily think that the bottom 4 site is where you want to see him, though.
Arguably not. I would say the reason why they probably brought him to the field instead of, like, for example, a Blackbeard is because there are a lot of shadows being cast down there in the in the server room, in the ventilation room, and sometimes it can be really hard to see a lot of the defenders. A Rook playing by one of the server boxes, for example, is he kind of blends in, you know? So I think that they brought the Glaz in an attempt to try and just, pick out some players from the environment. And I get why they would do that, but at the same time, it didn't work for them, so.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like, if he would have gotten that kill, he tagged him once or twice, whoever it was inside of the servers room. It was BC. He tagged him once, but again, that's the nerf to Glaz, is that it now takes 2 to 3 kills, not 1 to 2.
And on a Rook, I think it's 3, so like that's a lot you have to pump into the guy, especially when he's going to be pumping shooting his MP5 at you, and we saw BC just come up on top of there, getting that headshot, locking things out for his team, and then whipping out the revolver as well. We cannot neglect how awesome that was from BC to clutch that round out for his team, despite the fact that.
I think it's also worth noting that Mental did the correct thing. Although he lost the fight against the revolver, he did the correct thing in not allowing the pressure to ease up on BC. If the pressure would have eased up, BC would have reloaded. Now you're going against Buck's assault rifle against the MP5. Yeah. I don't necessarily think that it's any... I think you're more advantageous to keep the pressure up, take your chances with the revolver, than going up against the MP5.
Yeah, the MP5 is a very consistent gun, as in the contrast of the C8 coming out from Buck, which is a little bit of an arguably inconsistent weapon. However, it has been mastered by many a player. So, I mean, we're talking about the Pro League here, so...
So
at the same
all
time,
weapons are equal in the hands of the pros now.
Yeah, at the same time, we are looking at a 2-1 scoreline coming out from Continuum in the lead right now. Omen looking like they are going to have to defend ventilation moving forward here. And we'll see exactly, the interesting thing here is going to be how Continuum choose to take on to ventilation, because they have yet to hold, or they have yet to attack it yet. So are they going to go for a Teller's office take, simply a Teller's take? Are they going to go for a West take, just come from outside? Are they going to go for an Armory take, which is, again, one of the more common ones? What's the strat here for Continuum?
Well, we'll have to figure out here momentarily as we are getting underway with round number 4 in the first map of this best-of-3 series between Continuum and OMEN eSports. Now, OMEN eSports, because this is round number 4, is going to start on defense. They can't go top floor because they won their top floor defense, so they're going to choose to go into that ventilation room and the workshop.
Right, and Continuum conversely are on that attack yet again. And Blackbeard coming out from Continuum, this is the more common pick above the Glaz right now. He has really taken over that Glaz role since the Glaz nerf. I think Continuum picking him up here instead of trying to force out the Glaz is probably the right decision. Now it's going to be interesting to see, again, mostly what I'm waiting to see here is how where it is that Continuum spawn, and from those spawns we can kind of piece together where it is they plan to attack from.
I'm thinking that the attack is going to come from the Teller's room downstairs, because we see the Thatcher coming out of the woodwork. And I think that Thatcher play is going to be in anticipation of either a mute or a bandit reinforcing or banditing the 4 walls of bathroom and Tellers.
Right. It could also arguably, though, be just an upstairs take. So where you see T-Mercs, he was just reinforcing that wall to Armory. You want to get the control of that if you're going to go into B-bomb site. So in order to do that, sometimes that's bandited. In this case, there is neither a bandit nor a mute. But sometimes that wall is bandited, sometimes this back wall is bandited, where you see Mental opening right now. I mean, it's all kind of a gamble in that regard. However, CTMs are going to be having all their bases covered here, and the majority of them will be spawning on the south side, going for what appears to be maybe a CCTV take early on. So no, this is slanted to be a Teller take overall. Yeah, it looks like they're going to want to push their way into Tellers, similar to what we saw Omen do previously. Now, the question then is, are they going to hunt down the roamers above Tellers in that office? Because there are 2 right now. There's Yellow and T-Mercs. And taking control of, sorry, not taking control, but rather eliminating those 2 roamers is very, very important. Because if you do not, then they will have the ability to open up the drop downs above your entire take and apply a lot of pressure to your team, if not completely stop the take altogether.
Now we can see NVK's inside of the break room holding down that middle corridor, hoping to pick off anyone trying to rotate between the Archives Lounge as well as the lockers.
And you can see here that Continuum have just taken control of CCTV and now are looking to take the top floor before they actually wholeheartedly decide what it is, the site-wise, they're going to try and push into.
That Teamworks will have to fall down through the drop hatch, which has previously been opened. He's going to rotate back to site. Yellow is left to fend for himself on this top floor. Now, he has been droned out. Canadian is going to try to reconfirm that he's still up there inside a fountain, and therefore he's going to be basically pinched here.
Right, but he is going to be playing with Jaeger, and if there's any character, or if there's any operator who is going to be fighting to, right back onto the attacking team, it's going to be Jaeger. So he just needs to go ahead and get some frags here to bring it back after not has been
Ooh, he tags down onto one, gets a double kill before he gets taken up from behind of NVK. Tremendous job. You were just talking about it. The Jaeger has the ability to do that, and he just drastically showed how important those 2 kills were.
Right, yeah. Without those 2 kills, obviously, it would be a 5-on-3 now after Jaeger has been picked off directly after getting those 2 frags. But now a 3-on-3, this defensive team still has a lot of good options here. CTM have established control over the top floor in its entirety, but what does that really yield them? Not a whole lot. As you can see, OMEN are playing very dynamically on and off the site. However, Mental playing hard on the site is going to actually get picked off by Canadian, and that's a very bad start in this 3v3.
NVK is going to rush down the stairs here. Teamworks, here's the rush, and he's going to go for the pre-fire around the corner. BC still inside of the atrium as Canadian's going to toss one nade, cook it on down, and Teamworks will fall right there. Good night. Last man alive going to go. Cookies trying to drop for the kill. Canadian does not snag it. A one-on-one Blackbeard versus Valkyrie on their home map, and we're going to have Blackbeard come out on top.
Oh, that is neat. Isn't that neat? Both Dustline operators, and we are playing the Dustline DLC map.
That is neat.
Yeah, it is absolutely fantastical. No, but at the same time, that round really consisting of a lot of fast trades back and forth between these 2 squads. Continuum, just because they got the first initial kill, they put themselves at the tempo lead, and they managed to come out on top. The strategy was simple for Continuum: take control of above, open up the floor, start picking off players one by one. And you know, I would argue that the overall reason that the Continuum won that round was due to Mental being picked off without actually being able to influence the round whatsoever as the smoke inside the server, because he died to that buck hole. And usually when you have a buck hole opened up above you, you try to avoid it as actively as possible. He just unfortunately did not.
Yeah, and what we saw there was, like you said, the Buck had opened up a lot of the floor. He saw the feet of Mental and was able to tag that shot down. But I was thinking from a defensive standpoint, a lot of the times you can guess or at least have a good understanding on where the holes are going to be opened up and be ready for them. In some stances, because you're the one that's also on the attack side from time to time, trying to make those same exact holes.
And you did see Teamworks. He was playing in the hallway to the front door because he knew he wasn't being pressured from the front door, and conversely, he knew that he was being pressured very much so from above. So instead of allowing himself to succumb to the pressure of those, unfortunately missed that Valkyrie cam. That was a nice attempt though there. And instead of succumbing to that pressure, he simply just waltzed outside of the site. I mean, it's what we talked about numerous times on maps like, for example, let's talk about Cafe on train room defense. When the attackers have established control over piano, you just leave train room. You know, you don't have to think, you don't have to stay inside of train and risk being killed from above. There's no reason to do that. You can just, yeah, you can just play from outside the site and retake it. And that's what Pulse was doing, and it was working for him, but unfortunately, Smoke did not.
Now we are going to see OMEN work their way into the security room. We've got a drone working a little bit, droning ahead of Blackbeard inside of the lockers. A little engagement is going to pop out first as Canadian tags the first kill of the round onto Teamworks, but then it's instantly traded out by Yellow.
Attackers recovered the bomb.
Now the Valkyrie for the Hibana, without the walls getting opened up, might have been worth it. However, there is still a thermite on the attacking squad.
That is going to be Yellow getting lit very much up by NVK through that wall. That was a very good spray there. However, it's not going to be enough to finish off Yellow. And now with this A wall being opened up, there still isn't a lot of options for OMEN. Now the dilemma here for OMEN is that they don't have their Hibana, which means they cannot open up, unfortunately, that mirror window unless they send someone like, for example, the Ash downstairs to open it up from below. And it doesn't look like they're trying to do that right now. This is really going to work against Omen going into this round.
Now we do have Blackbeard outside on the window side. We can see BC trying to challenge that. Out on the window of Archives, Nan though gonna take out Jarvis as Mental. Tags down the kill into NVK. Necrox picking up the gas kill there into Yellow. A 3-man swap as it's 2-on-3 at the moment. 45 seconds to go. Necrox has 1 gas grenade left. We're going to see him try to get this kill here onto the Thatcher, I believe. That is outside on the west balcony. BC must have dropped and come back up the east stairwell. He won't snag anyone from behind as we have 2 Omen members coming in from west balcony. Mental playing the Blackbeard still on the east window. Sorry, the north window of the A site. Now Cookies has managed to get his way in past that mirror, the mirror window. Picks off the kill there onto Necrox. They know that Blackbeard is outside. Couple shots go through. He's injured and he is down for the count. Last man alive is going to be Cookies. A 1-on-1 now. No, I'm sorry, a 2-on-1 as BC still has Nan and Cookies to finish off.
Yeah, but BC doesn't know that he's down the Blackbeard, and he's going to be playing this very much on the fly. He will be finished off by Nan. A great round there from Omen, an excellent attack overall. Now, interestingly, they I don't believe they disabled that mirror window in the small office. And if they did, it really didn't play much of an effect, or overall, it didn't play much of an effect into the round regardless. CTM are seeming to underutilize it unless it got disabled. I did not see if it got disabled.
I did not see either. I
That's
don't think it did, because we did have BC actually get into the office, or try to get into the middle office successfully, and I don't think he was actually looking.
But the way that they nullified that window, instead of actually opening it up, is they played that Blackbeard on the north balcony outside the B bomb site, and having the Blackbeard on that balcony basically, it effectively nullifies the window in that you cannot really play at the window safely, because the angle, Blackbeard can get an angle onto you from that spot. So now, Continuum going to be going on to attack again, and it is going to be Omen defending this top floor bomb site. Continuum is in the lead score-wise right now. It is 3-2, I believe.
Yes.
So Omen, while they are defending Armory, are likely to bring it into a 3-3 situation. Both of these teams have been entirely successful when it comes to defending the Armory. Thus far, that is.
And for a split second, I thought that was Mira placing a mirror window inside of servers facing ventilation. I was about to ask for your opinion on that because I had no idea what it was going to be used for.
Well, theoretically, it could be used for holding that, holding the anchor downstairs, but no. No. It would be a waste of a mirror window, definitively. In all likelihood. Anyway, we are going to be seeing Continuum taking out that east stairs camera before they progress their way in, likely to the east stairs themselves, as well as the CCTV room. This is shaping up to be an A bomb site attack, but they're going to have to contest T-Mercs, who is playing underneath with this pulse sensor and C4. If T-Merc spots out the fact that they are, or if he hints at the fact that, or if he gets hinted at the fact that we are taking, that Continuum are taking CCTV right now, we might see this C4 come from underneath.
We might just see it right here on BC. BC's kind of staying still for a little bit.
He's waiting, very patient. This Pulse is being very patient, waiting for BC to actually be static before he goes for the C4 kill.
Now T-Merc's trying to hide from Canadian's drone. He's doing a fairly good job, but I think Canadian has spotted him.
Clearing the way.
We're going to see BC try to move in forward from this break room. Move on over. He's still holding on. Now, again, this is that little game we've been seeing between T-Mercs. He's going to toss this nade up. Just gets him smacked on down. Canadian, though, swoops on in to get the trade immediately. Split second sooner, and he could have saved Blackbeard's life. But unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles, and BC will fall. Now, NVK also took a couple bullets to the chest, and he got down for the count there. I think that was by Yellow.
Yeah, that was indeed by Yellow. Yellow has been having a fantastic game thus far in this match for his team, really stepping up, getting the frags where they're necessary, and because he's doing that in this round, we are seeing Omen, excuse me, be in an extremely large lead here, 4-3. List one team after another. We'll go to the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one.
Now 50 seconds are left on the clock in a 4-on-3. We do have cookies inside of the lockers, and I believe we may have had, sorry, no, he's still there inside of the middle dorm. Now it looks as though we are going to have Necrox try to move on over to half wall. He tags one kill into Cookies. He's going to try to go for this plant as Canadian picks off the kill there onto Mental. Now coming up the middle hallway is going to be Yellow trying to come up from behind. Looks like he might go up for the shots on Canadian. Tags down onto one. Now a 2-on-2. It's looking like we could actually have Continuum come back from this. Looks like we're going to have the last man alive going to be Necrox. And he's got a 2-on-1 in his hands right now. No, he actually picked both of them. So there we will have Omen securing round number 6. And we've got another tie back on our hands, ladies and gents. This is, again, map number 1 in this best-of-3 series.
Yeah, and it has gone to 3-3 as Nan with a tremendous double kill there will bring things back for his team. Yellow, meanwhile, in that round, doing some great frag work and picking off Continuum players one by one, and that was just some great duo work between the two of them.
I gotta say, though, that what I liked seeing about that was definitely the crossfires we saw. We saw some trading going on. To me, it showed that Omen is actually prepared for this matchup.
Yeah, it did. It did absolutely show that they're prepared for this matchup. And I mean, going toe-to-toe with a Titan like Continuum is really, honestly, a huge statement. And I'm really happy that Omen is stepping forth like this. Now Continuum going to be going down into the ventilation defense yet again. They were previously successful here on this particular defense, however, just by a hair. Last time we were brought here, Omen, they tried to attack through the tellers and were unsuccessful as Continuum picked them off one by one, pushing into the tellers themselves. There was just not enough control of the top floor and the roamer game in general coming out from Omen to open up opportunities for them going into this attack.
Now Continuum is investing a lot of resources. We're looking at Necrox on all of the walls on the south end of the A site. This is something, all 4 of these walls are reinforced. Typically we might see 1, 2, I've never actually seen 3 and all 4 reinforced here.
Yeah, it is a little bit weird seeing that whole wall reinforced. However, having it reinforced is going to allow Continuum to play off of that wall very efficiently in the site itself. It gives you kind of just a safety net to think about.
Oh, now Yellow might be spotting out Jarvis here. No, he's actually not going to go for a quick push. So therefore, he's just going to open up the wall and then drone it out later, but he has trapped Jarvis now. It's odd he would open that up and not actually engage at all for it.
I mean, he just doesn't want to risk it right now. I mean, 3-3, you don't want to blow your lead, right? So may as well drone everything. And Mental is going to take out NVK, and that's a really good start for Omen in this round. Canadian still playing a CCTV is going to have to challenge onto 3 of the attacking operators, and he will be finished off by Mental. That was actually through the wall, I believe. Well played there to Mental, getting that swift double kill onto MVK and Canadian. Those are arguably the 2 top players on Continuum. Those are definitely the frag players in general. So now it's all down to the anchors and 1 roamer playing in customs.
So you've got Necrox, Jarvis, and BC. Jarvis is still looking at that wall that has been opened up. He hasn't realized yet that it was opened and then forgotten about here from Omen. Omen has controlled the top floor now. They've taken over the offices as well as the lockers and archives lounge. Flashbang's going to go, and Yellow's going to drop in to move forward into the tellers. He's cleared that all out, and now they're going to get into bathroom and push from the east end of the servers. Now this wall that Yellow has opened up earlier is going to allow a safe entry pass in as he taps the head of Jarvis, forcing him to eat a handful of bullets. Now a 5-on-2 with 60 seconds left to go. Necrox and BC both on site. They're going to hold down the fort. First gas grenade gets tossed on out by Necrox, and we're going to see Omen collapse onto the 2 remaining defenders here very shortly.
It would be pretty incredible to see Necrox and BC clutch this out. It is looking like it's very much slanted against them in this situation. We are seeing Omen pressure onto both the A and the B bomb site. Teamworks is going to finish off Necrox, and now it's all down to BC. Teamworks with a swift double kill, though, will lock out that particular round.
And
now,
that's Omen up 4-3 now.
Right now, we have been the first hard lead for Omen, I believe. well played to them on border. I'm pretty sure that this is their map.
It is, yes.
This is where Omen wanted to bring Continuum, so the fact that they're winning here should go without saying. However, the fact that they're doing it regardless is impressive, to say the least. Ventilation Room Workshop now going to be coming out from Omen yet again, and they have struggled with this particular bomb site on the defense.
The Omen we're seeing right now on border is definitely a vastly improved Omen than what we saw against Flipside 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I concur. I concur. The flip side, Omen was something was missing. Something, the formula was just not full. And I think that Janon being added into this roster, you can see there he's doing somewhat decent for his team, really does bring a lot of extra bite to the Omen squad. And I think that moving forward, they're going to be going ahead and utilizing a lot more of that aggression. It seems like Omen overall, especially in the second, after the rehost, they are very much catching their stride and feeling a little bit more confident in their play. It's noticeable. They make a lot more, just in general, aggressive plays. Go for those fights, and it's working out great for them.
5 seconds to insertion.
And it looks as though, like we said, that rehost kind of gave Omen a time to compose themselves, and it was unfortunately at the expense of Continuum's roster lineup. I mean, you had Canadian that dropped early on in the round.
So, but at the same time, Continuum did win that round.
They did win that round, yes.
And then moving forward, I mean, it was Continuum's rehost, so it wasn't as if like Omen, you know, they just kind of happened.
That's what I'm saying. It's unfortunate for Continuum because they did have that momentum, especially coming back after that 5-4 victory.
Yeah, and now it does seem like the momentum is definitely in the favor of Omen right this minute as they defend this top floor against the Continuum onslaught. We are going to be seeing Continuum pushing their way into CCTV and then right now into the Armory wall. They are going to have to contest that mirror window in the small office, and the thing about that is yes, they're probably going to open it up and establish control, but they're going to spend a lot of utility doing that. And the thing is, all Cookie really needs to do is fall back to the site, which is exactly what he has done.
Now an NVK will tag the head of Yellow as he moves on back into the site between the two, and we've got now a Continuum advantage in man count. Canadian's going to rush on into the site here, or rush above the site into the lockers.
Right. So 1 minute 30 left to go. Half of the round has already progressed, and one of the defenders has been picked off without making anything really useful happen, but there's still the C4 to worry about underneath for Continuum. If T-Mercs is able to pick off one or maybe even two of the attackers with his C4, he will be bringing this back for his team.
Now we are seeing T-Mercs, his heartbeat sensor has been EMP'd, so he's now going to take the fight to the attackers above. He knows the holes have been opened up. He's been watching Canadian do that for the past 30 seconds. And with about, I want to say, 10 shotgun shots left, Canadian's going to use up the last of them to try to open up as much of the floor as possible. 50 seconds remain, a 5-on-4. BC now looking through the drop hole, or the drone hole, as he works his way from tellers.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Looks as though NVK will tag one kill there into Cookies, and he will get injured in the process. So unless he gets picked back up, which it looks like he's getting picked up now. No, he's not. He's going to wait for, I believe that's going to be Necrox going to move on over to him. It will stay a 4v3, unless they do get him up in time. And they do, so therefore a C4 toss gets thrown out, misses his target, and Non will be injured, and then finally removed from combat from Canadian. Gas grenade from the bathroom is going to halt the push in. A 2-on-5, 10 seconds left to go. Canadian will fall as Jarvis will tag the kill there into T-Mercs. Last one alive is going to be Mental. Diffuser is going down by Necrox inside of the beast site. We are going to have Continuum successfully get that plant down into 4-on-1. Mental not having the firepower to take it on to BC with that head shield looking down, and it's going to be a Continuum victory here. 4-4 now.
A very, very standard. So yeah, 4-4, which means we will be having overtime, which means we will be doing a rehost, ladies and gentlemen. Apologize for this, bear with us. So what we saw from there from Continuum was a very, very standard upstairs armory take before establishing control over and then opening up the floor of the armory, establish line of sight onto the players who are holding in the ventilation room and server, pick them off one by one, and then just move in. and there's no real variation there. There wasn't a much counterplay coming out of Omen, and it just kind of played out the way you expect a very standard strategy to play out.
I mean, it worked out for the attackers, for CTM. As we said, we did have a rehost earlier on to Canadian, unfortunately dropping. So we had to rehost for that, and due to the fact that it's now overtime, we are going to have a coin toss to determine who's positioned or who's going to actually be on defense, who's going to be on attack. And because it's overtime, the bomb sites also reset, which means any bomb site is now viable for any attacking or any defending squad.
Right.
Which is previously what I think. Well, I guess it wouldn't have mattered because they both went based on whatever it was. Continuum and Omen. We're here, first map, overtime. Were you expecting this?
No.
You
No,
were
I
not.
was expecting it to be much more slanted in the favor of Continuum from the
Mhm.
get-go. I think the Continuum has definitely started to step it up. As from what we saw in the last round, it was a pretty definitive victory for Continuum. And I feel like they are going to be pushing a lot harder
Mhm.
on this next rehost. However, it is still very much anybody's game. And no, I was not expecting it to be as close as it is Omen versus Continuum right now.
I feel as though, like we said, Omen is definitely a different Omen than what we saw facing Flipside 2 weeks ago. They've definitely improved upon themselves. I think the addition of Nan is something that
If nothing else,
benefited their team tremendously.
yeah, if nothing else, it helps the mentality of the team because it's not just he's bringing more frags to the board. It's he is someone we have confidence in, synergy with, and are happy to have on our squad. And I feel like Janon is definitely the player that fulfills that role.
Mm-hmm. Now, looking at the Continuum lineup, I was thinking about Border and Season 3. Border was a map, Season 3 and Invitational, Border was a map that if you said, what is one team that constantly plays on it and constantly wins it, I'd say it was Continuum. And so at that time, the roster included NVK, included Canadian and Necrox. So those three players. Then taking a look at Season 1, when Ominous beat Continuum, they beat them on Border. Who were the two key players? BC and Jarvis. So the 5 players on Continuum right now are basically, I would say, the
border
epitome of a
squad.
border squad. And here we have Omen still going round for round with Continuum here. And it's, to me, like you said, not something I was expecting, but something I'm very happy to see Omen pushing forward with doing.
Yeah, no, Omen have really been stepping it up in this particular match.
Mhm.
Even if they lose on Border here on overtime, we do have 2 more maps to go to. So, despite this being Omen's pick, they are gonna have other opportunities down the line. I believe it was Oregon is their map number 2.
Yes, Oregon is map number 2, and then Consulate is the decider map. Sure to get to it.
So if somehow Omen manages to step it up on Oregon, okay, so let's say that Continuum win on Border, because Border is kind of Continuum's map. If somehow Omen manage to step it up on Oregon and we go to Consulate, then I think that Consulate might be actually the decider map that we want to see, where it's a little bit more loose. Now, I know that a lot of the Continuum players are very proficient on Consulate, but I also know that it's not as I would say it's not as strategically a heavy map as some of the other ones we're seeing played right now, between
think
Border and Oregon.
I think it's still a very strategically heavy map. What I don't think it is an anticipated map. You can't necessarily anticipate the bomb sites, but you still have strategies that go for them.
I mean, yeah, there's still strategies, but it's so much more loose in that the way that you can play around each of the bomb sites is still so open to interpretation compared to something like Border or Oregon. Oregon is very cut and dry. What we see on Border. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting back into the match. It is 4-4 right now. Overtime. Continuum are going to be starting on attack. Omen are going to be starting on defense. And because of that, Omen will be going for that Armory Lockers defense. But yeah, no, I mean, all in all, I think that all 3 of these maps are very similar overall as a whole. So I believe that if there's any point in this matchup, Omen has the ability to, step up and say, you know what, we're winning this map. It could be
Agreed
right
here.
now.
It definitely could be, and might just be right now. Omen has to win 2 out of the next 3 rounds, as it is overtime. So first team to 6 is going to be the first team to take home map number 1. Now the setup that we're seeing here from Omen looking like it might just be very similar to their first defensive hold, where we do see the mirror coming out onto the middle office window. That's where Nan's going to be.
Now the middle office window, Omen nullified it by standing on the north balcony. Continuum nullified it by opening it up with a Habana charge. Continuum is also bringing that Thatcher just in case there is a bandit. And there is not a bandit coming out for Omen, nor is there a mute. So it shouldn't be much of an issue. It'll be a null factor for Continuum to open up that mirror window.
And we did see the second mirror placement happening on the soft wall from lockers facing into the archives, basically facing out towards that east and north balcony.
This is some very aggressive roamer play coming out from the Jaeger all the way deep into the bathroom. We'll see if it pays off for him. He's actually going to rotate back. Now, T-Burks playing underneath CCTV in customs is what he has been doing previously. Unfortunately, he's not yielded much results from it. So we'll see if he's able to make it work this time, or if it's just going to be another case of a roamer playing downstairs and not really influencing around much at all. Neither of these teams are hard hunting down the roamers. Continuum had a round where they did hunt down T-Mercs all the way in servers, but it's been a while since then.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Now, originally, I thought this might try to be a CCTV west balcony take because they all started out on Valley, but it looked like they're going to go for the office push onto the B archive site.
Yeah, it seems like they just, as a whole, CTM just likes to spawn Valley on attack. That's just kind of their deal, I guess. They kind of pivot off of that particular spawn to each of their attacks. And here you can see, just like you said, an office take coming out from CTM, and Omen is not in a good position to counter this take right now.
Now Fountain has been cleared out, so NVK is going to move in forward, toss out his last EMP towards that soft mirror window. Wall's going to get opened up. Now Cookies has been detected inside of the archives. C4's in his hand, ready to get tossed on out over the shelving unit. Canadian gets his drone destroyed. Necrox, though, picks off the first kill of overtime onto Yellow. That was the roaming Jaeger. Nade comes on in, and it looks like Cookies will not get destroyed just yet by it.
He's peeking very aggressively, though, so he might die to just gunfire.
I believe the Ash charge above the mirror window did not actually destroy it. T-Mercs, however, comes out strong with a double kill, 1 onto the head of Necrox, and 2 by C4 underneath onto BC. That's going to be the Blackbeard and Habana being taken out. Canadian is still top floor with, or still very top roof, I want to say, with about half health, now a quarter health, as he falls on off onto the ventilation vehicle customs unit. Now a flashbang onto Cookies will force him blind, and he will be injured off by Canadian. Now we've got a 3-on-3 with Mental, Non, and T-Mercs, last 3 alive on the defensive squad. Looks like we're going to have Necrox, I'm sorry, NVK get taken out as well as Jarvis. Canadian's going to swash on around, tag one into Mental, turns on over, but the drop shot from T-Mercs is there to finish him off, and that's a 3K this round for T-Mercs. Omen securing the first round of overtime. They need 1 more to take map number 1.
Good defense there from Omen. However, honestly, it seemed like CTM had themselves slanted to win that attack. I mean, they were totally poised outside the bomb site. They had full control. The one dilemma was that mirror window on the wall facing into the B bomb site. But at the same time, they didn't go for that diffuser plant. They could not take care of the Valkyrie playing in the B bomb site soon enough, and then once they had, it just seemed like they were falling apart from behind and not enough flank cover, and it's just one thing going wrong after another for Continuum resulted in now we are seeing Omen on that overtime first point.
Now Continuum will go to opt for this top 4 bomb site, which again is the most favored bomb site on this map for nearly every single team. I've yet to see a team
Yeah.
not favorite.
I mean, the teams that go down to ventilation first go down to ventilation first to try and mix up the operator selection of the other team. That's about it. That is the gist of that decision-making process for the most part. I'm sure there's a squad out there who wholeheartedly prefers ventilation, but none springs to mind.
Recovered the bomb diffuser. Attackers are moving.
We're going to have two roamers. That's going to be Canadian and NVK underneath.
Good roaming duo, that. One of them will have C4. That's probably going to be the Canadian, which is C4, again, very useful on this particular bomb site, and that a lot of this floor is destructible. So as the attackers progress their way in upstairs, whether it be in CCTV or elsewhere, they still have to think about and worry about that C4 from below.
Now, I believe we have no one from CTM inside of the monitors, inside of the CCTV room, 2 mentals left, which means, yep, Cookie's going to get a free one inside.
So that's good control established already from Omen. Not having to waste a lot of time on this particular take means that they will have more time when they push their way into the site itself, which they should be doing soon. Taking their time with it, though. They don't want to risk anything. This is an unnecessary risk to take, so they're just going to go ahead and drone things out to be absolutely certain what they can and cannot do in this situation.
And we hear the Hibana charges coming on out. Looking like, ooh, I think there was a Blanker getting up onto the, just taking a little bit of damage, but ultimately making sure it's a lot safer to get to that windowsill off of the B archive site. Now behind the half wall is going to be BC. He gets droned out. However, Teamworks has a small line of sight, looking for a head to possibly pop up. NVK, however, tags that kill there onto Mental, finishing off the Blackbeard onto the window, which he just got off to.
1 minute left to go, and the only player having been killed throughout this round has been the Blackbeard. Blackbeard not on the board for the attackers is a huge driving force lost. However, they still have a good chance of winning this round.
Knock, knock.
Now Omen looking like they will put a lot of effort into this west balcony take. Only 4 members left standing here for the Omen squad. 45 seconds left to go. Canadian will fall by the Hibana. That's Teamworks. I believe that was Middle Dorm's call. Now a nade from underneath, or Ash charge from underneath, will force BC off the half wall. That is 75% of his health gone. He moves on over and looks like he gets taken out by Yellow, looking for the crossfire connecting kill. And as Yellow moves on forward, BC's there to clean up the kill. A 3-on-3 now, 20 seconds left to go. Non moves on forward. He snags the head of one, but gets headshotted in return by BC. Now last but not least is going to be Jarvis as we have BC getting taken out. Jarvis moves on forward, tosses out the C4. That is down. Diffuser not planted, and Cookies in a one-on-one gets to go for Jarvis. 7 seconds left to go. He's going to go to the right side. He's going to go for the kill. He tags it, and that's Omen going on through to the stairwell. That's going to be Omen taking map number 1 here against Continuum.
What a great read there from Cookies, recognizing that if he had gone for the diffuser and conversely the plant, then he would have absolutely lost that round. There would be no way for him to be able to clutch it out. So well played to him to be like, all right, I know what you're going to do, Mira. You're going to try and prone on the stairs to the main lobby, and it's going to get you killed because I'm going to pre-fire.
It was definitely smart thinking on behalf of the Omen players. Tremendous job.
Yeah, overall.
Tremendous.
Yeah, overall that round. I mean, Omen winning the map, great. Fantastically well done. If we could take a look at some of the highlights throughout that match, as we talk about what happened there in that last round. This run out, by the way, this right here.
It set the tone.
I was about to say, this we all thought was going to set the tone for the match overall, but then suddenly Omen bringing it back and starting to win round after round after round, and especially after the first initial rehost, right after this round right here, they started winning all of the rounds, and it was just, it really did surprise me that they managed to bring it back after that first, run out from Canadian.
So to take it into aspects, it was 3-1 at the time of the rehost. After the rehost, it was 3-1 in favor of Continuum. After the rehost, it went 5-1 in favor of Omen.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, well, I mean, technically it went 3-1 on the first rehost, and then the second, the last 2 rounds.
No, I don't count that forceful rehost.
It was
the overtime rehost.
Overtime intentional rehost, but at the same time, you know, I mean, if we're gonna divvy them up, you know, but all the same, Omen now 1 up over Continuum, and now putting them in a great position here. But they are going to be going on to Oregon, which is a map that okay, now I want to say that Oregon is a map that Continuum is proven to be very proficient on, but
honestly,
so is Border. That was Border as well.
That, like we talked about it, Continuum. The lineup that Continuum has is quote unquote what I would have said would have been the Border squad, but they've shown that they couldn't hold it together. So I can't give them Oregon. I can't. I'm giving this to Omen here today.
Yeah, Omen definitely showing us that they really do deserve a lot of respect here. Regardless of if we see Continuum come back and win 2 maps in a row here, Omen absolutely proved their point.
Yep.
I mean, I have to say, there was a lot of disrespect to Omen going into the initial Pro League, because the way that they made their way in was through the Challenger League through the 3rd slot. And it was, you know, it was kind of like, well, no. But they have absolutely stepped up in this matchup. Going up against Continuum, what a Titan to beat on Border, one of their best maps. I mean, I'm still rattling around in my brain that they beat Continuum on Border. I mean, it was very well played.
I think one of the things that played into the intensity of Omen coming out very strong today is the fact that what is on the line right now. And what's on the line for today's game between Continuum and OMEN eSports is loser of today's matchup, of this best of 3, which you're witnessing right now, is out of the Pro League for Season 2. They get knocked down to the Challenger League for Season 3. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They don't get to come back. They don't get to go to the playoffs, and they don't get to go to LAN. So the loser of this series today, whether it be Continuum or Omen, are out of the Pro League. And that is what's on the line right now. And I think Omen is more aware of that than ever, to say, we don't want to take the L.
Yeah, and arguably, it's comparable to being first rounded at a LAN event.
Yep.
If you lose here, this is the soonest that you can be eliminated. So whichever of these 2 teams does get eliminated will be very discouraged, I'm sure. We are going to be getting into the match, though, I think. So.
Yep. So we are getting on to Oregon right now, ladies and gents, as the operators are being chosen. So let's head on into the map to see who we're going to have on attack, who we're going to have on defense. CTM starting up on the attack squad, as Omen going to be holding down that laundry room and supply room.
Well, they actually have mixed it up to a kids' dorm hall, but that was a very last-second change there, yeah. Continuum, however, probably not going to be swayed very much by that particular rotation. They're just going to be like, all right, well, they're defending top floor first, no big deal. On Oregon, between top floor and basement, both sides are really, truly good. And I don't think there's a team, I mean, obviously, most teams prefer the basement, but overall, I mean, you could go to either, right? It's not like one of them's not defensible. So, OMEN eSports going to have probably just a final dandy job of defending this particular website. Now, okay, we really need to see Continuum here, for their sake, set that tempo early on. They need to get a concise and definitive round win here to put themselves in a winning position and have hopes of getting it to a 3rd map.
So what I think we're going to see here potentially from Continuum is going to be a red tower take onto north windows. And the reason I say that is because they have the firepower, or we'll call it the destructibility power with the thermite, with the Hibana, to open up the attic without any kind of trouble, all with ease, and then also open up the mirror windows, most likely where they're going to be, whether that is the kids' dorms, the kitchen, wherever it could possibly be. They have the firepower to do all of that.
It does look like it is going to be a tower B window take. Just based upon the operator spawning area here. But at the same time, Continuum is exerting a lot of force onto the Master Armory side of things. So it could be a little bit of a split coming out from Continuum. Maybe they're trying to clear every little thing. And as MVK is taking control of Armory, it does look like that is what is going to ensue here. They have control over the tower, they have control over the armory, they have control over all the different things. The only thing that they're not trying to exert power onto right now is the main kitchen and the west side of the building, which is totally justifiable. This take is fair. I mean, it should work to their team's lineup, like you said, with having all that destructibility. They have a lot of options here, and I think that's going to play into this strat a lot. However, the problem is that they do have a lot of there's a lot of roamers on the Omen lineup downstairs, and they have C4. They even have a pulse sensor, which means that we are going to see Continuum contest those roamers, lest they take control of site and simply be C4'd from below.
Teamworks is, like you said, underneath. There are 3 roamers. It's Yellow, Teamworks, and Cookies. BC is going to be on that single window between the red tower and the hallway of top floor. Looks like BC's trying to make sure no one's inside of the middle dorms, which is actually where Mira was. Looks like she navigated over towards the back stairs. So Nan's got to stay put for a little bit here, as we have Necrox trying to drone out Dining to make sure it's going to be all clear for BC to rappel up and try to challenge Mental inside of the kids' dorms. 50 seconds remains, a 5-on-5. Again, not too much of a skirmish has happened, but the middle dorms is now trying to be taken under control here. NVK will fall to Nan as Mental gets picked up by BC on this north rappel. Necrox will then move on forward to take out Teamworks. That's going to be the 2 roamers up top being taken out. However, we have a run out from Yellow. He's going to go all the way from small tower window. He tags 1, and then Necrox will finish off Yellow and then taken up by Cookies. A 1-on-2. Diffuser has been planted. Last man alive is going to be Cookies coming up from small tower. Now the window has not been opened up, so he realizes this is not an avenue I can go for. Canadian tossing out some flashbangs over towards the back stairs. Jarvis looking for someone to push up from the front stairs. They have this collage, this down pat.
Yeah, no, it would be pretty hard for Canadian to throw this engagement right now.
And this is unfortunately the fact of life. If you're trying to challenge a Mira window, regardless if you're on the attack side or the defensive side, if you are on the visible side of that Mira window, you have the advantage.
Yep, absolutely. You saw there a nice attempt from Cookies, and oh man, if Yellow had seen that, if Yellow had seen Necrox, we could have seen, it could have gone into a 2 versus 2, and it could have gone into a clutch, but that was unfortunately not the case, and we will see Continuum take that first round. However, not definitively. Certainly not. It came down to a very late part of the round, and I'd have to say Continuum's attack strategy was a little all over the place. They were doing They were taking control over tower. They were taking control over main lobby. They were master,
North windows,
armory,
everything.
North windows. Every little area they could possibly put somebody on, there was somebody there. And unfortunately, what we didn't see from Omen was enough aggression to counter that, because the main problem with trying to put one player in every different lane is that it can so easily be countered by just some really great pocket aggression into like, okay, well, hey, they only have one guy here, so let's go pick them off together as a team. I mean, it's unfortunate that we didn't see that coming up from Omen. However, again, it was a very close round. So moving into the future, I'm sure we'll see some great things from Omen, as we saw from them on Border previously. I like what I'm seeing from CTM here with that mirror window into the kitchen. That is not only going to allow the CTM to roam into kitchen, but more importantly, once they come back from that roam, they'll be able to re-engage anyone who chases them, which we actually have seen a lot of teams struggle with. When they open up that rotation hole, they're like, all right, we're going to roam, and then we're going to fall back through this rotation hole back into the kitchen.
And then we're going to give it up.
And then go to meeting hall, and then nothing comes of it, basically. A little bit of time wasted, sure. A little bit of distraction, sure. But you don't get anything from it. But now, as a roamer, if you're coming out of kitchen, you do the normal default back into meeting hall, then you can actually challenge people who are trying to fight you and chase you and get the frags.
And we are going to have Mental here moving in towards that middle classroom, the main lobby here. Saw the mirror window inside of the meeting hall. Now this is a little bit of a lot of utility, a lot of resources being put upstairs off the site. Both mirror windows, which we've already talked about previously, how important the mirror has played in making the downstairs site more viable.
Yeah, and having so much investment upstairs is not abnormal per se. It's not something we have never seen before, but it isn't usually as efficient, or we've seen it not be as efficient as simply holding on the site. However, Canadian is going to start things off really well here with the C4 onto the Blackbeard.
Yep, it looks like the mirror window will possibly get opened up. No, the batteries do go down, and that won't get opened. However, we will see BC fall by Non moving on in with that AR-33. Now a 4-on-4 as Non still up top. Yellow's going to move on down, trying to get rid of some of this barbed wire, but we've already got Canadian tucked around inside of the cubby of Laundry. Looks like T-Mercs tags a headshot there into Necrox. We are going to see a couple more bullets go flying. Yellow with a drastic kill here onto NVK, but another C4 kill from Jarvis will finish off T-Mercs. Now flashbangs are going to go flying a 3-on-2 here. You still have Jarvis, who's roaming up top inside of the meeting hall, and Canadian still downstairs. Now it looks like we might see the plant going on down. Canadian has no C4 left, but he's coming for the shots there. He gets the headshot down. Diffuser has not been planted. He's able to get back into the cubby under the safety. Now little health to go. 30 seconds left, a 2-on-2, but Non is still hurt here the same. So now with this, Cookie's going to go for the plant. And you're going to have one cover from the top, but that is Jarvis finishing him off. Last minute alive is going to be behind Laundry. Canadian swings on around and grabs the kill. That, unfortunately, as much as I want to say that was Canadian and Continuum's victory, that was ultimately Omen's loss.
Yeah, that was a really big misplay there from Omen. There was nobody hard covering the defuse plant coming down on the dryer. Well, not on the dryer, next to the dryer. And because of that, a Canadian was allowed to freely roam, like just hard shift W past the one person who was covering the defuse from the drop down. And the thing about the drop down cover is that, again, there is gaps in your vision, and just that was displayed there because of their all we needed to see for Omen to win that round was one of their players that wasn't playing the diffuser at the bottom of the stairs waiting patiently. And because we didn't see that, we now have Omen in a 2-0 deficit, going on to a basement defense. They were not successful in their upstairs defense. They're simply going into the basement because this is them trying to adapt. This is them trying to be like, all right, well, we didn't win upstairs, so let's go ahead and try something different, you know? We don't need to force out that upstairs defense. We can always come back to it later. I do like the way that Continuum set up their defensive strategy overall on that last map. Or sorry, not on the last map, rather on that last round, where they invested so heavily in the meeting hall. We don't typically see that much anymore, and it was interesting to see. It was really cool. It was nifty, you know? And I don't think that the meeting hall control actually really played a huge part in their victory of that last round. If we're being honest with ourselves, I think it actually was one of the reasons that Omen... Oh, wow, this rush coming out from MVK.
Woo, and a double tag there. NVK dropping 2 kills on the Mental and Cookies as all 5 members from Continuum spawned out towards construction. NVK's like, I'm going to just pop right in. We've droned it out. They know the wall's soft. I'm going to rush right in, get the kills, and there he goes. He's now all the way back outside, almost like it never even happened.
Yeah, and it never even happened, but at the same time, it is a 3 versus 5, so... thinking it's probably going to be Continuum's round. It'd be very, very, very amazing if Omen managed to bring this back. They're going to need to get probably a good C4 kill or 2 to be able to, you know, turn the tides back in favor of their team.
I was going to say, T-Mercs could get a C4 kill if he just tosses it on out, but he's in a pre-fire spot. NVK is going to come swinging around with a pre-fire right down onto it. You saw the pre-fire right there. Now, he didn't see his target, so he's going to move on forward. He doesn't know. Actually, he does know. T-Mercs was there, spotted him out, identified, fell down through the hole.
Yeah, but all the same, it is going to be a 3-on-5, and it's so difficult to go ahead. Like, when a team establishes such a dominant control position that early into a round, especially when it's on attack, it's so difficult to recover from that. There's a lot of time for the attackers to work on picking off simply three defenders. There's
now,
one of them.
Was going to say Yellow is the only roamer, and he is the only roamer, but he's also the only defender left alive here. A 5-on-1, and this will go to Continuum to make it 3-0. NVK will be injured, down but not out at the moment. Finally, one member goes down from Continuum, but this is not going to go in the hands of Omen.
Yeah, a very simple tower construction take coming out from Continuum to lock things out here, put it into 3-1, or sorry, excuse me, 3-0. as Yellow attempts to go ahead and challenge onto.
He's not quite sure where to go. He tries to go
Yeah.
for the pistol kill onto Blackbeard, but
not happening.
Canadian comes swinging around with a para and goes into the hands of Continuum.
Yeah, there it is, the 3-0 starting us off here. Continuum looking extremely strong on Oregon. We talked about how Oregon is their map, but again, how Border was as well. So, will we see OMEN start their comeback here? Because if we recall, Border was a bit of a comeback from OMEN. So if anything's possible, it is OMEN starting their wins right now.
Now, we saw previously that OMEN has shown the capacity to come back from a deficit of 3 points, 2 points,
Attackers
but
need to locate and defuse
not
the
necessarily
bomb.
after this, we'll call it,
Devastatingly one-sided performance.
we could use that terminology, sure.
Yeah. I mean, OMEN has had some pretty good attempts at winning a lot of these rounds, but after that last round, Continuum is feeling, it's got to feel like they're in a really dominant position right now. This is just nothing like what we were seeing on Border. So far, it doesn't seem like OMEN can really get a grasp on how they're handling Oregon as a whole.
5 seconds
And
remaining.
that could change, obviously, like you said. OMEN has the capacity to start the comeback, so
Attackers' objective is to defuse the bomb.
I could see it happening. I could really see it happening, and I want to believe in OMEN, but it needs to start now. Obviously, it needs
Now,
to start now. If you put
what
it on
is-
4-0, it's not going to happen.
If we go back to the kitchen for a second, into the shower, or not stairs, the bathrooms of kitchen, we saw a mirror window.
Right.
And that mirror window was facing from bathroom into kitchen on a soft wall. What are you able to hold from the bathroom onto kitchen?
Good start there from MVK on the yellow, but that mirror window basically can be used to hold the doorway to kitchen itself, because it is at a very extreme angle, but you can see through the mirror window on the door, the main door of kitchen from cafeteria. And oh, look at that, T-Mercs is going to use the same window that his teammate was just picked off on. Apparently, they really needed to use this specific window to establish control over top tower.
And we're going to see the attic wall get opened up here by Hibana. That's going to be T-Mercs.
Okay, so they're doing a Tower B window take right now. That much is clear. And they're very much pressuring onto the attic. But they're going to have to really focus a lot of their manpower, given that they're a man down in this situation, in order to make this take work. And it doesn't seem like that's what's happening here. They have 2 people in tower right now, and nobody's even close to the B windows. With only half a round to go, you have a Thatcher outside front door, and I cannot tell where the 4th player is.
We do have, looks
Well,
like
looks
Nam
like he's-
gets finished off by NVK jumping out. I think that was the big window. He's going to get into small tower, uncontested, unharmed.
And that was the Thatcher outside front door. When I said consolidate and bring your team together, that's exactly one of the reasons why, is because when you have a Thatcher standing outside front door all by his lonesome, he's liable to be picked off by those kinds of runouts. Now it's all down to T-Mercs, Mental, and Thermite going in, or Cookies, that is. And T-Mercs is going to start things off, though, by picking off Jarvis. That's a 3 armor operator off the board. That's good.
Now, Mental was just spotted going into the armory, and it looks like he'll turn around and tag NVK at the bottom of the stairs.
Whoa,
T-Mercs
T-Mercs.
tagging another kill there on a Necrox. They've just evened out man count into a 3-3. NVK as well is also being drastically hurt. Now, we did have Canadian come up from downstairs. He's inside a garage right now. He spotted out someone inside of the meeting hall, as well as he's got Mental above him. So, we've got Canadian trying to throw out the C4, tags the kill there, drags it onto Mental. A fantastic job there by the Pulse, but a couple bullets get tagged into his foot as he moves away. Flashbangs go flying. There's only 13 seconds left to go. That's going to force T-Mercs to run on up into sight. He's going to go through some barbed wire. He's trying to do it very quickly. However, he gets taken on out. Last man alive is going to be Cookie. He's going for BC. He cannot get the kill, and we have the drop shot from NVK coming up the back stairs, and Cookies will fall. CTM takes round number 4. 4-0 is what OMEN now has to go up against.
So obviously this is CTM's map, but it also seems a lot like just in general, OMEN don't really have a grasp on Oregon, and I'm thinking that maybe it might be the case that, simply put, Omen really liked Border. Clearly they were very well versed on it, and now going up against Continuum on Oregon. I mean, this has happened before to many a team, but they're unfortunately going to be putting us now unfortunately for them, going to be putting us now what looks like it's going to be a 1-1 scoreline situation for the map count. It's likely we'll see our third map coming out here.
Now, we are seeing some operator changes here for OMEN eSports. We're going to see the Mute and Doc come out of the woodworks.
Yeah, Mute and Doc. Now, that's interesting. You don't see a lot of 3 armors these days. You typically see the Mira played, but it's more often than not the MP5s are finding their ways out of the meta. I remember back in the very beginning of Rainbow Six Pro League, year 1, it used to be you would play Rook and Doc. You would get all of the HP that you could possibly get onto the board, and that was before Doc buff. But it's become more of a 3-speed sort of meta, and not seeing the Bandit coming out for Omen, which is especially surprising.
We're going to have 2 members from Omen up here. I think Yellow is just getting 1 ADS and then might try to rotate down. Oh, he's going to fall all the way. Unfortunately, he didn't hit the crossbar. So he's going to say, hey, Doc, hit me up.
Yeah, that's a little bit of wasted utility, but that's not going to really matter too terribly much, I suppose. It's also, more importantly, because they don't want to waste too much of his utility, he is going to be at least 1 or 2 shots less to kill.
Oh, and it looks like he doesn't need much health to tag a headshot there onto NVK as he peeks on out from the main hall. That, to me, was very much like a Nesk move. We talked about it before. Your little Nesk popped up with Canadian, but Nesk in the sense of on Chalet popping out of the lobby by Kitchen to tap a headshot there onto the black van. Being
where you really just shouldn't be and making it work because nobody expects you to be there.
Yep.
And that is what we saw from Yellow, and you know, if it works, it works.
Now we do have Necrox and BC repelled onto the red tower as Jarvis is going to drone it out for him. Now it looks like, oh, what a shot by Yellow!
Nutty.
Finishing off Necrox as he tries to rappel into the window.
Yellow don't need no ACOG.
He don't need no health either. And there it is, the red dot. He's like, hey, Doc, can I get some more juice?
Yeah, and it's like, you're like, you know what, dude, listen, you're killing everybody, so yeah, you can have some more.
There it is, fantastic play there.
Are we seeing the comeback starting here for Omen? T-Mercs, however, does get picked off, and now it is bringing it back here. Canadian is bringing it back into a 3-on-4.
Woo,
Nope,
Yellow with a
Yellow.
3K. He must have either heard it or he got around just in time to turn away from that flashbang and baited out Canadian.
Is this the ace potential? Ladies and gentlemen, all he's got to kill is Jarvis and BC, the previous ominous players, to put it now at an ace. He does have half of his HP left. The Doc has been eliminated, but he also has the diffuser, which means all Yellow has to do is simply wait here patiently for Jarvis and BC to come to him.
35 seconds to go. And Yellow, I think he may have heard the barbed wire, so he's going to try to get into position with a very tight angle. Looks like EMP is going to go out. And Jarvis will fall to Cookies. No more A's for Yellow. BC's going to be the last man, but he's on site. No diffuser in hand. And as he goes for the top shot, Mental's going to go for the drop shot, and BC will fall. Omen not letting this be a flawless 5-0 victor, flawless loss. They're now trying to get back into the hands. It's now 4-1.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if Omen just starts a crazy comeback right now and we see it go to a 4-4 OT?
I mean, while it's not likely, it's possible because we did see them go 5-1 just on the last map.
Right, and we have seen it happen before in previous matchups where a 4-0 turns very, very swiftly into a 6-4.
Yep.
So anything's possible. Omen could do some very spectacular nonsense right this very second and start to make the comeback happen. We'll find out in a moment. But Continuum going to be putting on to a basement defense in the hope of locking things out here and not allowing that to happen. Just not allowing that to happen. See, they do not want to have, they don't want to get eliminated from Pro League like that.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Thinking about here the momentum shift of that last round, and Yellow bringing the momentum back in his team's favor. While it is going to be a bottom 4 site with Continuum holding it very conservatively, more conservatively than they have previously, it still just might be all that Omen needed, was just another kick in the rear, another momentum push, and that's what we got here.
Yeah, because they were at the deficit previously on border. They they started their comeback. They made it happen. So it's entirely possible that you're right, and that's all they really needed was just, hey, you know, guys, if you go ahead and try, you can win these rounds. MVK is going to be opening up this window just a tad too late to be able to actually successfully get any kills down. He'll be playing very aggressively in this tower, and it's a very dangerous position to be playing, as well as it's very heavily invested angle. Now, challenging onto the Blackbeard is the scary thing to be doing, so he's going to go ahead and leave the tower now, as he knows that he cannot win that fight at that range.
Now NVK still playing the guessing game with Omen. Trying to say, am I going to be on the main floor, the second floor, the very top floor of the red tower? Looks as though they're not going to take any chances, and they're actually going to move forward. Toss out all the flashbangs. I don't even know if the wall has been... Oh, okay, the wall has been opened up. Now they have brought BC back into the mix, so that means 2 members from Continuum are going to try to hold on to this red tower. BC still going to try to go for some shots here. He's going to go for a little peek, and it looks like his head will be removed from its body as Mental goes for the headshot there on the BC. Now NVK is going to try to get his own shots down onto Blackbeard. The brand new shield's going to lead to a victory most likely here. No, it's not. NVK is going to push on forward in what would otherwise be a retreat. So he will finish off the Blackbeard, but then Canadian gets traded off by T-Mercs. That is Pulse going down a 3-on-4.
Ooh, power position.
Oh, it looks like NVK snags one, but then gets finished off in a trade right away. Last 2 alive here for Continuum. You've got Necrox inside of the middle supply closet, and we have Jarvis trying to cover out the rear. It's a 2-on-2 now. Cookie's gonna be moving forward. It looks like we have the C4 flying on out, but Nan, I'm sorry, is gonna be trying to get the diffuser planted. Now there is 1 gas grenade left. He's gonna try to bait it out, looks like. Can he get it? We'll have to see. He's going to go for the plant here. There's the toss, and that will finish off Nan. Unfortunately for CTM, it's a 2-on-1. No gas grenades left to go, but a 20-second timer has begun.
That's basically GG coming out for Omen. They might be able to pull this. I mean, Cookies could get the nuttiest shot of his life. It's entirely possible.
I mean, this is one of the situations where it's up to Continuum to lose.
Oh!
Oh, he snags 0. I thought it was for a split second too. I was there right with you.
No, we were on the same page with that one. I think it was the camera flip happening there in the middle of the engagement. But yeah, Necrox will finish off Cookies, and it will be GG. We will be going to map number 3 between Omen and Continuum.
And that's going to be played on Consulate. But congratulations to Continuum, showing that Oregon is their map, not necessarily border, as we previously thought it was, and that means we get to head to our 3rd map in this best-of-3 series.
Right, and on a map like Consulate, I do think that a lot of the individual players on Continuum are going to be very happy there, right at home. So I think that it might be going in their favor. Before we get to that, though, let's take a look at some of the highlights from that previous matchup. Some of the, oh my gosh, Yellow had some fantastic frags overall throughout that match. He was obviously the sole reason they actually managed to win a single round. There were a lot of instances like this, however, where Omen were making a lot of really big mistakes, where they just were not covering their teammates. And then there's this. I mean, not having that wall reinforced early on, or at least covering the construction push, doing one or the other, is really to the detriment of your team. And it's why we saw so clearly CTM victory on this particular map. Just a couple of really big mistakes coming out from Open.
Now here we have Yellow again on his rampage to get a 3K. This was I'll call it a god tier shot.
That was a really good shot. It was. I mean, Yellow definitely is stepping up for his team in this matchup overall. He was a big contributing factor to the first map win. Yep. And then as well, the only round that was won by Yellow on the second map. So.
Now, we are going to get underway here momentarily with our third and final map of this series, as well as of the night here, between OMEN eSports and Continuum. It's going to be played on Consulate, and Consulate, I said earlier, was the map that is kind of up in the air, because we know more about Continuum than we know about OMEN, but at the same time, this map is starting to be one of those maps that every team is favoring because every single bomb site is favorable.
It's a very fluid map at that, and it's got a lot of options. So I think that going into this, it's like you said, it's anyone's match.
Yep. So we are going to get underway here. Round number 1 at its fingertips, and we're going to see a Jackal coming out of the woodwork right away from Yellow.
That's very interesting, to say the least. You know what they don't have on the board? An Ashe? Or excuse me? There's no Ashe on this lineup. There's no Blackbeard on this lineup. They're instead bringing a Glaz. What is happening with the Omen squad? Now, I really, really want to see what their attack strategy is with this particular lineup. Normally speaking, you would have a Blackbeard brought to the field almost 9 times out of 10 on this map, and then an Ashe. Well, I mean, an Ashe goes without saying on every map. When do you not bring an Ashe? When is that a thing?
So I see part of it happening because I believe Jackal now has smokes, which is going to allow allow Glass to get his play here on the garage.
So open up the garage, smoke it a bunch, and then try to get the diffuser plant. Yeah.
Ultimately, you don't need for a bottom bomb site. You don't need a lot of fire.
True, true. As long as they can get that garage open, there is going to be a bandit on that for being played by Canadian. And you also have to worry about that vertical control. Now, the dilemma is, yes, okay, so you can very easily just smoke the garage and get the diffuser plant with the glass covering. However, if you don't take control of piano, then you still have to worry about any defender waiting above with holes looking through the floor, denying that diffuser plant. Regardless of smoke, you can't really stop that.
Now it looks like Yellow going to be going up to the east end rooftop of the Consulate. I want to think he's getting into looking for lurkers. He's going to be just possibly going into admin, looking for a retreat or a roamer.
It might be the case that their first step in this particular attack is, before we open up the garage, just clear out all the roamers. Because that would, again, sate the need to clear out the piano control, and thus allowing you to plant the diffuser in the first place.
Now we are going to see Yellow hop back onto his drone, as I believe Non has just picked up the diffuser over by Yellow stairs. Have to place a Claymore here. Now that's a good position for the Claymore, because what that does is it's not necessarily visible for someone coming up the stairs to look under the crevice of the door to see if the Claymore still is in existence. Looks as though we are going to have a bit of an engagement here with Mental coming out on top, as Canadian just cannot strafe back and forth and land the targets.
That's not only one of the roamers, but that's also the bandit. Now, there is a Thermite getting very aggressive in the piano, so it doesn't look like the garage is their main focus right now. MVK might have gone unnoticed.
Oh, he's going to look for the shots there, but misses, and MVK comes swinging around with a double kill, getting Yellow and Cookies. And unfortunately, I think that's Jackal not using his vision.
I might have been that he did not have any footprints to look at, as I'm pretty sure MVK very, very neatly escorted himself into that corner all along the wall, not exposing his footprints at all. Being conscious of Jackal footprints, by the way, is something you don't see a lot of. So it might have just been luck. It might have been really good game sense from MVK. However, we are not seeing the garage take that we were expecting to see coming out from Omen. Instead, they are focusing now on the drops, as they do have two people outside garage, but there's no real push potential here. The Glaz and the Jackal being picked off earlier elsewhere pretty much nullified all of that. Wow, look at this.
Oh, a very aggressive trying to plant there, but Necrox is like, nope.
It's not going to happen.
Comes enough for the pipe. Now, Teamworks dropped from the bathroom, and Jarvis was able to pick him up. Last minute alive is going to be Mental, and unfortunately, it will go into the hands of CTM. What I am very curious about, though, why Glaz in admin, not outside a garage?
Just in general, I'm going to be honest. Yes, okay, clear out the roamers. Don't start from admin. I understand what they were trying to do. I get what Omen was trying to do. They wanted to clear the whole map, all of the roamers. That was their strategy, and I admire that. That is, ambitious, in a word. But when you're dealing with another squad that is extremely talented, they're just not going to allow that to happen because there are so many holes in that type of push. There's so many ways, so many opportunities for Continuum to counter onto that. And what would have been fine to see is, simply put, just take control of piano and then do your garage take that you're obviously planning to do with that operator selection. If Jackal and Glass had been allowed to line down their smokes and get that push into the garage, get the diffuser plant down, then it would have very likely have been a Omen victory. But now we have Continuum starting things 1 up against OMEN eSports on Consulate. This, the third map of this best of 3 series. Both of these squads now 1-1. Opening up the entire wall to the A bomb site is Mental, just trying to go ahead and say that, all right, we're not going to play inside the site. We're going to go ahead and play from the B side of things, and that's perfectly acceptable. That's what a lot of teams tend to do these days. Most squads don't fully commit inside the A bomb site. The reason is you don't really have any hard cover inside A. You've got the bomb, and that's it. And that's not really much. That's not really much to go on.
Yeah, and typically even that, you can't hide your entire self from the
A balcony.
Yeah, from the A balcony, where we typically see a Pengu Blackbeard player.
Yeah, and here you have BC playing Blackbeard. He's actually going to look like he's going to start things off on the B window. There's 2 places Blackbeards go on Consulate, okay? In terms of an upstairs attack. There's the B window, and there's the A window. Those are the 2 places that you see a Blackbeard go when on an upstairs attack on Consulate.
Now we are going to see Mental try to hold down the yellow stairs. The thin sliver of wall at the top of yellow into the cubby of corner office is soft. So that wall is soft, is also already opened, which allows our smoke, which allows Mental to take that SMG-11 and try to cover the rappel into the corner office. However, we do have NVK trying to challenge T-Mercs down here. At least took a little look, or took a little gander. Yellow, however, does swing around from the main lobby to take out NVK. Canadian gets his trade on to T-Mercs. That's going to be downstairs inside of the kitchen. That was originally, I think, what NVK was looking to go for. Now Yellow still being very cautious. He's going to tag Canadian down. He's got 1 more to fend him off, but some more shots are going to fly, and Necroc's going to tuck himself here into the soda machine. Yellow will come out on top as the reload is still happening. That is a 3K for Yellow. He comes out, go for a 4K. Yellow just massively annihilating CTM on this round number 2. He's got 1 man left to go. It's going to be the top man, Jarvis, here on the very top of the building. He's going to go over to corner office where his friend BC was just taken out of commission. Diffuser is in the hand, or in control of Yellow on the yellow stairs. And he's just going to say, I'm going in. I'm going right in, and Mental coming out from the top of yellow stairs. Again, that's why that sliver of a wall is opened up, so he can get that cover on the rappel in. And that is going to be the victory here for Omen on round number 2.
So something that I would like to just quickly mention based upon that last round is, despite the result of this particular matchup, despite whomever wins, I can tell you that you're likely to see Yellow retain his participation in the Pro League going into later seasons.
Yep.
Very, very likely, regardless of if he's on that on Omen or not. He's gonna maintain it if he wants it.
I mean, you heard about how many different rosters have had change-ups to try to get a more
skilled,
a skilled fragger, and we'll call it consistently skilled fragger on their team. And Yellow has shown that today for us.
Oh, yeah. Yellow has been, okay, if you have to attribute a win for the border, it's you know, obviously it's going to be Yellow. And then on the second map on Oregon, the only round that was won, that was Yellow. And then we just saw the first win of this particular map, a 4K from Yellow. I mean, he's been having a fantastic day today, and it might just be a one-off situation, but, you know, you can say, you can hold your head high and be like, I played amazingly against Continuum on this play day. Right here. Here are the recordings. Take a look. Take a look-see. Here, look at me. So, yeah, going into the future, I'm sure he won't have much trouble, no matter what. However, it's still anyone's game. I mean, Omen have the ability to win this map. Doesn't look like it's nearly as dominant for Continuum as we were seeing Oregon be. So, could see absolutely Omen walk away with it, in which case that whole conversation would become redundant.
So, Necrox will be droned out here. We're going to see a first floor bomb site hold, which coming out of Continuum is, again, not to be unexpected. Now we have Jarvis peeking on down from the Visa stairs to finish off Yellow, taking out their top fragger. Teamworks, though, gets a trade on the Necrox in return.
Ooh, okay, so there was the refrag. However, I don't think it was worth it. Teamworks is on 1 HP, and Yellow being off the board, I mean, he didn't get any frags in that round, and that's going to be to the detriment of his team. Now, that whole engagement was really just the case of Omen not droning out Visa before they started taking into it. You have to drone out something before you walk into it. You can't simply just assume that it's clear. And I'm guessing that his teammates probably called Visa clear and didn't call tellers or deep Visa hallway or Visa stairs clear, as they hadn't droned it yet. And the assumption game coming in there from Omen, unfortunately, now has cost them one player and the majority of Teamworks' life.
And unfortunately, it does not look like Teamworks is going to go up and get downed and picked back up. Instead, he's going to try to challenge Canadian. We're going to see some shots come out, though. Oh, no! Mental comes swinging around in a big clutch. They knew that Pulse was down there. They found him. They finished him off. Jarvis and NVK, though, will finish off Teamworks and Non.
Reloading, cover me.
So again, these constant refrags, these constant trades keep coming. NVK is tucked away inside of the middle offices, and Mental sees him. However, the shield doesn't help him, and NVK will tag onto a second kill. That's also Diffuser down. Cookie's last man alive. NVK is going to come up, swing to the left, and get the kill, and that's going to be the end of the round. CTM wins round number 3, up 2-1.
You know who else is still in that? MVK. MVK is still in that. Well played to him to do some fantastic work on that last round, and Continuum looking very strong on that particular attack. Now, what did we see from Omen that round? Kind of just a push into Visa, then a push downstairs, and then they all kind of died one by one as they made that attack strategy, as they made that attack push happen. There wasn't a whole lot of real traction coming out for Omen.
Yeah, now Omen is going to be going first floor as well, so looks like Omen wants to go top floor, first floor. Continuum wants to go bottom floor, first floor. And that's what we're seeing here from the lineups.
Interesting. More often than not, you see a bottom floor, top floor defense from most teams. But it's really cool to see both of these teams want to utilize that first floor defense. Again, all of the bomb sites are totally viable in this particular map, as they are all very similar to each other. However, you know, usually lobby gets ignored a little bit, and it's cool to not see it ignored today.
We are seeing heavy reinforcements coming out into the bathroom. Again, this is one of those pivot points that allows the defenders to keep a hold of that piano room without being exposed to 3 different windows looking into the site.
Simply having somebody inside the bathroom is important. He doesn't even need to, like, kill any of the attackers, really. He just needs to have a presence there. And as long as he's a presence there, that means that one of the attackers has to cover before have like a hard cover on the player in bathroom before the defuse plant can actually go down. Although more often than not, you will see the attackers try and kill whomever is playing inside that particular room before they get the defuse plant. It's not really very safe to go ahead and just, yeah, let's plant diffuser somebody in bathroom.
Now, Non and Cookies are going to be the 2 Omen members trying to stop this forefront from happening with CTM pushing into the admin offices.
I was about to say, this is kind of like a hard counter strat coming out here. As you can see, the majority of CTM right now is centered around an admin take. And having those 2 cast barricades in that mirror window is like very specifically to counter this take, I'm sure. So we'll see if CTM decide to change things up and go somewhere else, or if they are really going to just harp on this. Canadian being there is something it doesn't look like Non was counting on, and because of that, his mirror window will be opened from the window, and now that position is rendered almost useless. Meanwhile, Teamworks being picked off by NVK, and things are looking good for Continuum.
They are on this round, however, Yellow has been downed and injured outside, so BC waiting to see will he be picked off, and BC tags it down. 5 on 3. Non's window has been opened up upstairs, as we saw earlier. Cookie's also going to try to help on out. Flashbang's going to go in, and that is going to be Canadian. Look at, oh, he can't get the line of sight onto him. He's got to see the tip of the gun there. Now this is going to be, looks like a push in. Canadian comes out on top in that engagement as Necrox comes out on top with a headshot there on a mental. 5 on 1, last man alive is going to be Cookies, and he gets traded down by the 5.56 in the hands of Canadian. We see CTM going with a flawless round here.
Well played to Continuum, putting us out on 3-1, I believe it is.
Yes.
So round 5 is going to be coming out here, and Omen thrust back onto back onto attack, and Continuum going back into the garage. No, no real variation in the bomb sites coming out from either of these teams. Continuum really wants to stick to that garage and main floor, and then Omen wants to stick to the top floor and main floor. I mean, it's really interesting that kind of contrast is coming into play here.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Okay, so the problem that happened with the basement attack for Omen last time they were here was that they wasted 2 players trying to push into admin, and more importantly, they wasted the single 2 players that they could not waste. You could have had Thatcher and Thermite open garage, and then as soon as that has happened, just like rotated them off garage and then start them on the roam clear, but that's not what they did. They invested their smokes, all of their smokes, upstairs, and because of that, when they were going for the push into the garage itself, their strat kind of just fell apart as they strat pivoted clearly around the smokes. Now we are seeing Omen. They have rotated off of that strategy. It doesn't seem like that's what they're going for much at all. They do have a glass still, so it might still play some sort of effect into their attack here. However, they are not going to have that second set of smokes coming out from the Jackal.
You can see as every angle of line of sight comes into play. We see Cookies at the glass, moving his crosshairs to look right at it. Now garage has been opened up very quickly, and the first kill from Yellow lands on the Necrox, and that is why, as CTM, you need to take out Yellow as soon as possible.
Yeah, and more importantly, that's the smoke off the board. Smoke is huge to have gone on a garage attack. That is just so much time of stall that just won't happen anymore.
Now it looks as though we will have both sides of the garage get opened up, and Cookies not able to get a line of sight there onto Jarvis. Again, Jarvis is inside of the kitchen, so he won't be seen just yet.
A bomb has been located.
First smoke grenade comes out, second smoke grenade comes out, and we're going to be looking to have NVK.
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
Top left-hand corner, there is the shot there. He wasn't looking towards the stairs. Cookies will fall. And unfortunately, that's just Glaz getting a little bit too aggressive without droning out where the enemies are. Oh, and that ADS will take out the final breach charge. Flashbang's gonna go flying in. Yellow gonna go for a push here momentarily. Gets spotted out on the camera. Now he does have 1 stun grenade left to go, and Teamworks, as you called it before, after they get the garage opened up, have them rotate around. Teamworks is doing just that.
Yeah, and to be honest though, the whole push is kind of thwarted by this one single mirror window. And the flank is going to come down though. Teamworks picking off NDK. That's a good start, putting it now into 3v3.
There is 1 roamer above. That's going to be Canadian playing the Bandit. Flashbang's going to go in, and that means we are going to have a push on into BC, who moves it forward. He'll be taken on out. Last man alive, Canadian. He's gotten back into sight. He's middle hallway, looking out towards the garage where Mental's about to peek his way in, along with Yellow outside. Diffuser has been planted. They've both gotten outside of the garage now, successfully able to hold from outside by the van. Left and right side is where they're going to be trying to hold. Yellow's still holding onto the doorway here. He's going to spot Canadian, go for some shots, but decide not to challenge it and wait for Canadian to push on out. Yellow will come out on top, and that is Omen securing round number 5. It's 3-2.
Well played to Omen to luck out that round. So they were having trouble with the mirror window, but they luckily had a Teamworks who is ready to go and disable it. Well, extremely well played to him, by the way. If it weren't for Teamworks successfully pushing his way in through the back hall, picking off MVK, getting that flash down into BC, and disabling the Rook playing on that mirror window, we would have very likely seen that be an CTM victory, and have that been pretty much just like what sets the mood for the end of times for Omen. But that was not the case. And now, Omen will be going into a console room meeting defense. That's the
Attackers
upstairs
locate
bomb
and
site.
defuse bombs.
And we'll see how they choose to defend it.
So here it is. This is
Look
why,
at that score line.
I was going to say, this is why you need to take out Yellow if you're on Continuum. This is why you need to take out NVK if you're on Omen.
Right. As soon as one of them dies, it becomes a lot easier for the remaining players on the opposite team to, start getting some frags, start breathing a little bit, start going like, oh, okay, we got our options, we can go ahead and explore them.
Home improvement site.
It looks like we're going to see a very similar setup here from Omen that previously got them the victory on this top floor hold,
10 seconds to
which
go.
means if they do this successfully, we could be seeing this go into a
5
3-3
seconds remaining.
even out round count. Round count.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser. Attackers are moving to defuse the bomb.
Got them. Reload.
Valkyrie cameras going outside from Cookies as is per usual on this particular map. No surprises there. Not an IQ coming out from Continuum, which, we do see IQ played from time to time on Consulate as she's very useful here. However, she's not an essential operator. Not on this. I would say maybe on Skyscraper she's a little bit more important. BC likely to push up. Yep, he's going to be going up onto the admin window for now. It looks like it's going to be an admin take coming up from Continuum onto this top floor. Now, it's going to be interesting to see, is BC going to play onto that balcony outside the A bomb site at some point, or is he... Yep, there's the run out coming up from the Jaeger. That's Yellow. He's going to be picked off by BC, lose that engagement, and guess what, guys? That's Yellow gone for Omen. So
Yep.
that does not bode well for them overall.
But I think what that comes out to be also is, I think what you can take away from that is, even if you're going up against a strong team such as Continuum, don't not play
Attackers
your
dropped the
game.
bomb diffuser.
Yes.
And Yellow is playing his game. He's already calculated the risk of making that maneuver and jumping out on the balcony. He just didn't come out on top this time.
Right, I mean, MVK also going to come out on top in this engagement here against T-Mercs. And now this round is falling apart one little bit at a time for Omen. However, we are going to see Cookies start to try and trade things back by taking out Canadian. That's the Ash player from Continuum.
That's also Diffuser down in admin. If Non realizes this, we could see him stay right where he's at, or at least maybe progress even further in. Jarvis is going to be repelled on the double windows here of admin, but no one else is at the moment. So Non has relocated himself. Jarvis moving forward. He's going to be picked off very cleanly here by Non. A wonderful job with Diffuser down.
I don't think they
NVK's also here dropping off Cookies.
I don't think they know the diffuser's down. Otherwise, Non wouldn't have rotated. Oh, what a shot from NVK.
Last man alive is going to be Non. Now, unfortunately, this shield, I was going to say, if he stays inside, that shield's going to be on
Attackers have recovered their
bad position. Now, Necrox has moved in forward to 3-on-1. Diffuser has been picked up by Necrox. He's going to move on over to, most likely, that A balcony. NVK's here on the corner circle stairs. He comes swinging around. That is, I think, a 4K for NVK this round.
So you gotta kill Yellow, you gotta kill MVK. These are prerequisites to winning rounds for both of these two teams, basically.
That shark skin on the F2 is still one of my favorite skins.
I have to, something about that shark skin is that shark skin's been out for a very, very long time. It's been out since
the game started.
Since the game started, yeah. And way back in the beginning of the game, I feel like a lot of people take for granted now how many cool skins we have in the game. Way back in the beginning, there were so few good skins. I'm telling you, man, like it was sparse. And the art department has really laid into it and given us some amazing content.
I mean, I remember
then.
back in beta, almost every skin was like a Hawaiian flower skin. And I know of one person that still admires the flower skins on Ash. But other than that, I agree with you. The skins in this game has definitely taken a notch up.
Yay skins, super esport. Let's go. NVK though, really stepping up for his team here, putting it now on match point for Continuum. Yellow trying to step to MVK, but let's be honest, MVK's got that experience, that know-how, and I know I feel like we're talking about one player, but I mean, look at those score lines. Let's be honest here, guys. And it's not been a case of, oh, hey, let me support you into this role. It's been a case of, no, people just stepping up. Sometimes that's just how it do. Now,
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
CTM going to be thrust
Attackers
onto
objective
a
is to locate
basement
bomb and
defense, and
defuse
this
it.
is going to be their attempt at locking out this map. Yellow just needs the yellow skin, man. That's all he needs.
That's basically what he does. Just needs that banana skin gun, which he has right now.
APS deployed and ready to go. What's this, cabrones?
So looking on up through the drop hatch in admin, he won't spot anyone. There's no one from the attacking or the defending squad on the top side.
None of the roams whatsoever right now. Every single Continuum player is on the bomb site.
I feel very clustered down there.
Yeah, that is a little different than what we're used to. There is no, okay, wow, oh, I just noticed this, I can't believe it. There is no thermite coming out from Omen, and that, I don't think that you can go through that hole that Hibana opened.
You can crawl through, I
No,
think, but you can't vault through.
It looked like it might have been on the bottom, there might have been a little bit disrupted as well, but whatever the case be, they're not going to utilize that hole moving into their attack, which means they have now adjusted that attack to just kind of going inside and starting to pressure from the lanes that they can without breaches.
Yeah.
And that makes sense, to be honest with you, because, yeah, you needed to bring a thermite. So this actually, Omen not having a thermite here might be what locks out this round.
It could be the nail in the coffin, and right
Yeah.
now, again, this is map point, this is series point, and ultimately this is Pro League point, because loser of this very map and of this series will be knocked out of the Pro League for Group A. And so this is Omen fighting for their Pro League spot for next season. Right now, Yellow's going to lead the way down here. NBK is going to hop on around.
Jeez.
And this is going to be dual fraggers going back and forth. They tag each other, I think, with about the same amount of health.
That was super scary. MVK is going to pick off T-Mercs, however. A good start for him. Whoa! MVK gets traded back by Yellow. That's a really, really good frag there from Yellow.
And I think Yellow also spotted Canadian at the top. I don't know if Canadian saw Ash here, but we'll have to see.
Bomb located.
Shotgun, though, coming out strong from Necrox to finish off Mental. Yellow moving on forward here from Visa over in towards the main stairwell. He's going to go back on down where Nahan is looking to get rid of some barbed wire. Now, Canadian has managed to get his way into Visa after the clarity of his team. He picks off a double kill there on Anon and Cookies. Last man alive is going to be Yellow. If there is anyone on Omen that can pull this off, it's going to be Yellow, but it's not looking good. 30 seconds left to go. He's got Diffuser. Canadian's going to come out on top. Continuum's going to get the win. They're going to stay in the Pro League, and they have knocked out Omen and sent them back to the Challenger League from whence they came.
Worth noting, though, a very hard-fought victory. Omen certainly did not give this up freely, especially after they took that first map on Border. Very impressively played to them. MVK stepping up on this last map and really just out-fragging the competition. Well played to him. Canadian a close second overall. Continuum.
Coming out 2-1 on this victory here of the final series of this evening.